what other resources there are available to you as referee in chiefs. So while you have us in your associations for the clinic setting, now for mentorship, and if there happens to be a championship as well in your district or within your association, somebody coming in to take care of that, we have those points of reference, but we want to show you where you have resources outside of when you're directly engaging with the program. So on the BC Hockey homepage, there is a tab that says Programs, and there is an officiating section. And I'm sure many of you have been to the officiating page, but this is ultimately where we have the majority of our resources for you. Right away, there's a banner across the top, which we'll cover shortly. Coming into next month, we have lots of announcements and other program events and contests that are going to be coming up that'll start filling up this segment more from where we left off last year with the most recent stories that are up there now. And we will have the featured Make the Call contest coming back, hopefully right around Remembrance Day weekend in a couple of weeks, where we'll start to engage the officials again with some video instruction and contests and prizes. Obviously, the first tab is something that we've covered for the majority of the season so far through clinics, but just for a quick review of what we have there. First of all, just finding the clinic itself. You click the officiating clinic and you can search it right within your own district, and it'll show you everything that's available for registration within your district. So this could be helpful, one, for you planning your own clinic request to see what other clinics may already be scheduled in your district, so you can hopefully plan around that. Or secondly, if somebody has missed your local clinic from your association and you need to help them find an opportunity to get certified, that's your quickest resource right out of the clinics page or right out of the clinics tab is going there. The other thing on clinics, so that clinic link there will take you to officiating clinics within the district, find the clinic that an official can go to, find the clinic you've requested once it gets posted. But if you haven't submitted for your own clinic yet, you go to the Host a Clinic section. Ultimately, our goal is to have clinics done by the end of November, sort of December 1 being the soft deadline from Hockey Canada to get them completed. But ultimately, we want these clinic requests made as soon as possible within the season to help our coordinators plan in advance. When you come in to request your clinic, you'll pick the season that you're requesting for, and then the association that you are representing and the information that you want to have on the website. You'll notice everything's posted on the website in brackets there. So we're making sure that we're putting that type of information in place, and then we want it specified to the district that you're within. This doesn't specify to the 3 districts within the Lower Mainland or the 2 on the island, the 2 in the Okanagan, but at least helps us filter things from a priority sequence standpoint. So once that's all in place, we can pick the officiating program button, and then you fill in the rest of the particulars. The one area of our program which tends to be confusing when we're trying to set up clinics, especially for the referee-in-chief that only does this once a year, is when we come to the clinic numbers, and we want to make sure everybody's sort of aware and on the same page of what we're doing here. There's a tab here for level 2s where it doesn't specify a type for an age group category. Basically, if you pick 30 participants as a level 2, for level 2, our staff is automatically going to split that in half amongst 16 and 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds just to allow for that amount of space to be available for registration. And the reason it has to be split 16 to 17 and 18 plus is because of the criminal record check requirement. If what you ultimately want is your maximum number of attendees to total up to the capacity you have for your facility or the capacity you have within your program to allow officials to register. So if you only have the ability to accommodate 50 officials or 20 officials within your association as far as what the needs of your association are, that's where you're going to want to gauge these numbers on. If your facility only allows for 40 officials, we need to make sure that these totals add up accordingly. That will just get the clinic set up And then as we get closer to the date, we can monitor through the coordinators and the instructors that have been assigned to your clinic if there's any adjustments that need to be made because we misjudged the number of level 1s compared to level 2s and so on. So that's the process that we're going through in regards to actually requesting our clinics and getting our clinics up and running. The other thing is basically just getting started from an official standpoint. So even if you're a new referee-in-chief and you're not familiar with the process, or you're a veteran referee-in-chief, but we've come around to the start of the season and you need a refresher on what it is everybody needs to do to get going, there's a tab called Getting Started. In the Getting Started page, basically outlines the 3 steps it takes to become an official. Step 1, this step is only required for new officials. If they've never officiated before, they have to do step 1, and which is going to the Hockey University course and taking that. And by clicking that, it'll take them right to the website where they can take that course. Every returning official can skip right to the 2nd step, which is criminal record check. And this page will take them through the instructions of how to do their criminal record check correctly. And if they don't require either step 1 or 2, this button will also take them to the clinic registration page where they can go on and just find the clinic that works for them. The criminal record check process, again, as a reminder, is a 3-year expiry, and it's free of charge by using the online process that's here. All officials that are 19 years or older go to this website. They input the code that is right on this form of information, and then they fill out the questionnaire within the website that the Ministry of Justice has already put in place. By using this code, it does 2 things. It waives the fee for the criminal record check, and then it also identifies that it's for BC Hockey, and it will automatically be sent to our office and inputted on their profile. Online submissions during the season take about 5 to 7 business days. In the off season, they're quite a bit quicker, but because of the volume at this time of year, it slows down, and it's 5 to 7 days. It's a new process we put in place last year, and what we found last year were 2 anomalies in the submission process. One being confirmation of ID. In some cases, officials that have submitted online will have all their information received, but the Ministry of Justice's online process will require them to prove their ID. They just need to send copies of their ID to this email address where it can be submitted on their behalf to the Ministry of Justice to verify that that's the individual we need the criminal record check done for. And then from there, we can approve them to gain registration even if this criminal record check hasn't been officially approved at that point by the ministry. The second item is fingerprinting requirement. In some cases, people do require fingerprinting. And in that situation, they need to go into the detachment and get fingerprinted. And this process will take generally longer than the expected week or so of processing for the other 2 processes. And in that case, we do need a proof that they've submitted the fingerprinting to the detachment. And once we have that proof, again, sent to the criminal record check email address, we can approve them to allow for registration. The only people that don't use this 1-2-step process for submission of CRCs are 18-year-olds. Anybody that's turned 18 years old, either since the previous season or will turn 18 by December 31st of this year, they need to use the form that's on the website. So this form is only for 18-year-olds. The reason they need to use this is because it requires a parental guardian signature to consent for their criminal record check because they're under the age of 19. All of the branch information is pre-filled on this form online, so they don't need to fill in anything from that standpoint except for their personal information. And this can be faxed and or emailed to the Ministry of Justice directly, and I suggest copying this or advising officials to copy this to crc@bchockey.net when they submit it, just so there is a paper trail that can help us expedite the process if we're under a time crunch to get them registered for their clinic. So that's the criminal record check process. What we've done the last 2 years is sent a notification on the first business day after the Canada Day long weekend, notifying everybody that we have within our system that shows as being certified for the previous year and has a criminal record check that's ready to expire prior to the start of the season. So criminal record checks expire on July 31st. So that notification provides those people a month's notice before their criminal record check expires, and that they need to get that done before they register for their clinic in the fall. The second thing we do is we send a notification with this secondary form to everybody that was registered as an official the year previous who is turning 18 years old, so they know their correct process because they will never have gone through the process before. For the most part, the only people that we don't have the ability to contact in advance of the season who require a criminal record check are any people that are coming to the program for the first time or after several years being away where they weren't registered the previous year, because we don't have a way of tracking their criminal record check because they weren't certified the previous season. That's where you as the referee in chief is a major resource for us through your recruiting program. By anybody that you recruit that you know is over 18 years old that wasn't certified the year previous, that they need to take this step in the process in order to get certified. The other thing that we're going to add for this coming year is a notification in the new year. So this year in January, we're going to send notice to all referee chiefs as well as officials, notifying everybody that is going to have their criminal record check expire in the off season in July of 2016. So now we're going to have sort of a 6-month checkpoint in January where everyone's going to be notified of who's has this expiry coming up and who's turning 18 next year. And then we'll have the follow-up one that we've had in place for several years in July as a secondary notification to try and make sure everybody's on top of this as much as possible. So our only real anomaly ends up being that new official that's coming back or coming into the program, or somebody who's coming back that wasn't previously certified the year before. So that's an administrative item that we wanted to address with this group to try and help everybody in preparations for the remainder of this season and going into next season on how we can expedite things through this part of the year when we're in our clinic season now.